you might lose your head. I ain't kidding, that's what they said. If you smoke, it might take your life. But if you don't, you might beat your wife.
Why, hello, and welcome to another episode of ZeronesXXX Saga. Today we're celebrating Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day? That's right, Groundhog Day. What's Groundhog Day? You know, it's that little burrowing porcupine from Pennsylvania. It comes out every February 2nd and check its shadow. I think you could tell time, the weather or something. Really? Yeah, you know on how some doctors or some birds can actually tell when it's gonna rain or snow or whatever. Really? Um, I'm not sure. That's what I kind of heard from some people. Very interesting. This kind of reminds me of something. Like what? Um, Ghostbusters? I think you're thinking about that movie Groundhog Day. That Bill Murray movie. Yep, I bet that's it. You also did a movie of that too, right? Um, Actually, I think I did a parody of it from Sonic Boom. Yes, I think it's called HedgeHog Day. Huh. This is based on Dr. Eggman, isn't it? Yeah, but never really succeeds, but he actually did succeed in capturing me for the very first time. Well, did he kill you at the end? Well, look where I am now. Guess not. Well, he respects you. Yeah, but he still hates me anyway. Speaking of that, let's watch a clip. Let's all confess that sometimes, or most times, our frustration could lead us to a never-ending cycle. Like this level, for instance, which I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with a very elaborate path you have to navigate through. But to put things in deep perspective, I'd like to share with you all a Bill Murray movie, which I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with if you guys are millennials. It's about this selfish, wisecracking minor celebrity who is a reporter and a weatherman who has his lack of regards for people and this event called Groundhog Day. Well, the plot here is that he's trapped in some kind of dimensional time loop, which I'll probably call it, repeating the same date over and over again from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. back to where he started. Until he's able to figure out what he needs to do, he is trapped experiencing the Groundhog Day event until he gets it right. But what is right or what is wrong? Well, this is uncharted territory for our friend Bill Connors. Did I say Bill Connors? I mean Phil Connors. Yeah, Phil Connors. How he's going to escape his own insanity? Well, good luck, Bill. But to look deep in perspective, we need to understand why does this analogy fit very well with video games like Super Mario Brothers. Well, sometimes the game could be a little frustrating at first or a little confusing from the beginning, but when you discover a lot of things around you, you get a lot better after a while. Like, all I can say is that there's a first time for everything. Like, at first, things could be a pain or obstacles. But time after time, you gain the advantage because you have discovered this before and you're able to avoid these traps and these mistakes that you've been making over and over. So you can anticipate what your next move is going to be. And before you know it, what seemed so difficult from you from the beginning will no longer be an issue for you anymore. Which brings us back to science class. First, obviously, in order for you to solve the problem, you must identify the conflict first. When you identify the conflict, it creates your objective. So, in order for you to progress, you need to come up with some kind of hypothesis throughout this objective. You need to learn something throughout what you need to go through. You need to make a theory and run a test in order for you to find out what the problem is. Once you find out what the problem is, once you test your hypothesis, you're able to come up with a strategy. Due to observation and discovery, you have the increasing advantage to figure out what your solution is. And after that, when you find a solution, it leads to your result for your success. And that, my friends, is the secret to your success and how gamers are able to go through and succeed through hardships. Let's get more in depth on what my boy Phil is gonna do. Well, after the bowling alley, he learned that there's a lot of cons concerning being trapped in a time loop. And with that in his advantage, he feels that he's in some kind of video game. Or should I say, life is a video game to him. Meaning, if you die, there's no consequences if you lose. Especially in a game, when you die in a game, you can always start over. So by playing that game, he decided to make his own choices, make his own rules, and stuff like that. Calling himself a god.
Special today is blueberry waffles.
Why are you telling me this?
Because I want you to believe in me.
You're not a god. You can take my word for it. This is 12 years of Catholic school talking.
Why? Because he cannot die and he could do whatever he wants in his own time and don't really have to be penalized or stopped for it. I guess that's why he calls himself the god. Interesting, huh? Can predict time and place. Can make himself rich. Can get him the kind of pleasure he wants. The kind of dignity he wants. And there's so much more. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. But after time and time and time and time again, you get kind of bored with the same status quo, you know. The status quo is always the unsatisfying part of life. And you want to change or do something else, new. Because doing the same old thing, the same old time, over and over and over, gets so depressing and boring. So what's he gonna do? Well, first he's gonna try and attempt suicide. Did it work? Well, he tried a couple of times already, so no. So he wants to get himself out of it. So I guess the only thing he hasn't tried is doing good errands for other people. His selfishness is what's keeping him back. And by selfishness, he'll be stuck in there for the rest of his life. So being trapped here really got him stuck here forever and ever and ever. But now, learning from his mistakes, begin to have a heart for other people, being loved by other people, actually changed the system, and now he's no longer stuck in a time loop. Yep. And this is how you finish the game. This is how you find a solution. After you find a solution, you completely succeed on what you have accomplished that was so hard.
Something is different.
So, mission accomplished. Phil Connors.
They're all gone.
Now let's get down to Dr. Eggman on HedgeHog Day. So he's been fighting the same battle over and over again, having the same breakfast over and over again. Was it satisfying for him? Well, not really from the beginning. But he begins to learn the outcome, the tactics, and the move that they make because he's seen it before. With this in his advantage, he begins to learn what to do to avoid these actual conflicts that he gets himself into. Preparation, my friend. Knowing what they're gonna do gives you a very good advantage on what you need to do to win. So in most cases, after you find the same battle, watching and organizing your same plot and everything, you begin to succeed at last. But was that your main success? I don't think so. What Eggman really needs to do is to find his way out of this time loop, because the status quo is always boring in every concept of the way. how does he actually get out? Well, by science. Or does he actually need science? I don't know. I guess it's quite... Like, nothing of this episode really makes sense on how he's able to get himself out of the time loop. Nothing at all. What does science and phenomenon have to do with anything? Like, I do understand this is a parody of the movie Groundhog Day, which has a legacy for being trapped in a time loop and trying to find your way out, or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of like the movie Next, if you know what I mean. So what's the moral here, folks? I guess if you don't succeed, try again, or those who do not know history is doomed to repeat it. You know what, speaking of Sonic the Hedgehog, do you remember the stage from Sonic the Hedgehog, the Labyrinth Zone? There's a stage that I still having trouble taking out, and you know what? I haven't even come up with any particular strategy for defeating this boss stage, or zone, or whatever you want to call it. Can you guys give me some pointers? Like, seriously, I'm really having a difficult time. Gah. Why? Alright. You know what? If you guys can come up with a plan or show me something that I don't know, please help me out here. Because I have no idea what I'm doing. You know what? Let's wrap this up for now. Thank you.